Edward Bunker's roots go back to the earliest English settlements in America. In 1628, James Bunker was born to James and Elizabeth Bunker of Slapton, Devonshire, England. When he was 18 years old, in 1646, he came to America, where the Pilgrims had come only 26 years earlier. He was granted 236 acres of land in Dover, New Hampshire, at the mouth of the Oyster River on what was called Bunker Creek. He married Sarah and had 4 children. In 1675, he built a fortified home known as Bunker's Garrison that was successfully defended against the Indian attacks of 1694, being one of only 7 houses that remained standing, the others all being burned to the ground. The garrison stood for almost 250 years. The second generation was James Jr., born in 1665 at Dover. He eventually became the town constable. The third generation was Benjamin, born in 1710 in Dover, who afterwards pioneered Great Cranberry Island along the coast of Maine, adjacent to what is now Acadia National Park. He lived to be 110 years old. The fourth generation was Silas, born in 1746 in Dover. One of the first settlers of Sedgwick, Maine, he was a member of the Church of Christ and a surveyor of highways. The fifth generation was Silas Jr., born in 1778 in Sedgwick. He pioneered the new settlement of Atkinson, Maine, up the Penobscot River near Bangor, Maine. Silas Jr. was Edward's father. These are the generations in America before Edward. Edward wrote about his early years, quote, "I was born in the town of Atkinson, Penobscot County, state of Maine, August 1st, 1822. My parents were Silas and Hannah Berry Bunker. I was the youngest of 9 children, 7 boys and 2 girls. When I was about 16 years old, Father sold our home and moved to Charleston. When I was 19 years old, I left home with the consent of my parents to work for myself. A spirit of unrest had taken possession of me, and I longed to get away. I took a notion to visit my brother Nahum, living in Boston. He proposed we visit our brother Alfred, who was living in Hartford, Connecticut. This we did, and I spent the summer there. In the fall, my brother-in-law, John Berry, came along and wanted me to go to Wisconsin with him to see the country. I packed my trunk and left for the West. John Berry and I came to Cleveland, Ohio. The lake froze over that year, and we had to spend the winter there. I went to see Kirtland, to visit friends and see the temple. While there, we met Martin Harris, who invited us to his house, where we went and heard him bear his testimony to the truth of the Book of Mormon. Another who heard Martin Harris's testimony recorded what Martin said, quote, "Do you see the sun shining? Just as surely as the sun is shining on us and gives us light, and the moon and the stars give us light by night, just as surely as the breath of life sustains us, so surely do I know that Joseph Smith was a true prophet of God, chosen of God to open the last dispensation of the fullness of times. So surely do I know that the Book of Mormon was divinely translated. I saw the plates. I saw the angel. I heard the voice of God. I know that the Book of Mormon is true, and that Joseph Smith was a true prophet of God. I might as well doubt my own existence as to doubt the divine authenticity of the Book of Mormon or the divine calling of Joseph Smith. He who reported the incident said, quote, "It was a sublime moment. It was a wonderful testimony. We were thrilled to the very roots of our hair. The man before us was transformed as he stood with hand outstretched towards heaven. A halo seemed to encircle him. A divine fire glowed in his eyes. His voice throbbed with the sincerity and the conviction of his message. This was Martin Harris, whose burning testimony no power on earth could quench. It was the most thrilling moment of my life." End of quote. Edward now continues with his story. Quote, "I obtained work at Cleveland for $8 a month and board. While in Cleveland, Mr. Berry found the Book of Mormon, read it, and brought it to me to read, which I did. John Berry left me and went to Pittsburgh to obtain work, and we agreed to meet in Wisconsin. The man with whom I was living had the tract, The Voice of Warning, which I read also. I found a branch of the church there, attended the meetings, became convinced of the truth of Mormonism, and I was baptized in the month of April, 1845. Then I knew why it was that I had been led from my father's house and left my mother, whom I loved so dearly. After the lakes were opened, I got higher wages, $16 a month at Akron, where I worked 1 month. Then I went aboard a boat and landed at Chicago, then a small frontier town. From there I went to Rock River, Wisconsin to visit my cousin, Patience Millett, and friends from Maine. At the end of my stay, I took the stage to Galena, 90 miles distant, and then aboard a steamboat went down the Mississippi River and arrived at Nauvoo in July 1845.